It's Colors of the Month time. Hello and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. I didn't end up having time in last month's schedule for Colors of the Month, so it's been a while now. And by the way, yes, I realize I just talked about trying to use my Caran Brush Marker Pro markers for Colors of the Month in my last art video, and now you see me working with alcohol markers. The colors chosen didn't match up very closely with Caran colors, and I don't like trying to mix watercolors for limited palette challenges because Murphy's Law says you'll never ever mix enough of the color and then you're screwed because you'll never mix the exact shade again. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the Colors of the Month challenge, this is a limited palette challenge issued by Marker Universe at the beginning of every month, and we're encouraged to create art using just those colors. This started out as the Copic Colors Challenge in 2018, where 3 Copic colors were chosen. Special run packs of sketch and chow markers were sold, and people posted their art all over social media. When 2 withdrew all their middleman distributor contracts for Copic products, Marker Universe had to start planning for the future, and the challenge started to evolve. First, it was renamed Colors of the Month, and they started suggesting shade names from other marker brands. Eventually, Copic was phased out entirely. At one point in 2020, they attempted selling special runs of Colors of the Month colors in other brands, but that didn't last long. Now in 2021, they're naming 4 colors instead of 3 and not specifying brand shades at all. We're just being given the hex codes and told to go crazy. For as long as it's been the Colors of the Month challenge, we've been encouraged to mix and match between brands, grab shades that are close enough, use mediums other than alcohol ink, even go digital. Even back as far as Copic colors, adding black and white, mixing, diluting, and using less than the full 3 or 4 specified colors has always been fair game as well. The challenge is all about making art using the colors specified without adding additional colors. I'll tell you what this month's colors are and which markers I'm using in just a minute, but first let's talk about the giveaways I have coming up. The first is the Let's Get Jenna Monetized giveaway, and that one will open 4 entries once this channel has the watch hours I need to apply for monetization. The winner will receive a small original artwork plus their choice of the bundle of art supplies I've been setting aside for a giveaway, the duplicate fantasy genre books on my shelf, or a book depository order. The second is the Let's Get Jenna to 2K giveaway, and that one will open once this channel reaches and holds on to at least 2,000 subscribers. That one will be for winner's choice of an Amazon gift card or a book depository order. For both contests, you do need to be subscribed to this channel and be at least 14 years old. For all prizes except the Amazon gift card, you'll need to be willing and able to provide me with your mailing address, and I'll ask for that privately once winners are chosen. More information for both giveaways is in the description box down below. Marker Universe has dubbed this month's colors Carrot, Blueberry, Melon, and Almond, and I see now they've chosen names that go with a food theme, but I still disagree with the name choices. I'll comment on that in a sec. Carrot, also labeled as light coral / orange, is hex code F7A47F. And for this one, I used Spectra AD064 Peach. The hex color is definitely more on the coral side of things, so Carrot is a terrible name. Carrot should be a truer orange, right? Blueberry, also labeled dull navy, is hex code 465975, and for this one I used Copic B45 Smoky Blue. I have no problem with this one being called Blueberry, but note that the actual Copic shade Blueberry didn't match at all. Copic's Sky Blue was close, but a little more saturated. Melon, also labeled Minty Green, is hex code A3CC90, and for this one I used Spectra AD088 Sage. Melon is a fine color name, and this marker matched the hex tile almost perfectly. Unfortunately, I didn't remember until I was halfway through using it that I pretty much used this one up last year and haven't replaced it yet. I juiced it up a bit with some regular rubbing alcohol, but I really need to remember to buy a new one. I like this color. This is the color that I couldn't match with the Caran markers. Almond, also labeled light yellow / orange, is hex code FBCA6B, and for this one I used Copic YR01 Peach Puff. I disagree with the color name Almond, as almond in art supplies usually refers to something more like a light desaturated tan. It's normally a skin tone. The light orange / yellow tile that comes up for the hex code is more of a light peach, hence my marker choice. As for the rest of my supplies today, this piece is drawn on a sheet of Transo-type marker paper, which is exactly the same as the 70 GSM coated marker paper branded Copic. The sketch was done using a Prismacolor Kohl Erase pencil in lavender, but I do believe by the time I hit record I had done the initial lining and erased, so you shouldn't have easily been able to see the sketch. The initial lines were done using a Sakura Pigma Micron in black 0.5mm nib size. I did my final line art using a Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen in black and added some shiny spots to the eye using a Sakura Jelly Roll white gel pen. Today's piece is a semi-cartoony style rooster illustration because why not? I stared at recent photos on Pixabay for far too long looking for inspiration. Now, I said at the beginning of this video that I skipped last month's colors of the month because I didn't have time in my schedule, and that's true, I didn't. There were 9 art video slots in my schedule last month, 5 of which were March Fandom Mayhem, and 1 was Art Addicts Alliance, so I only had 3 slots to schedule with anything else. I did a no box art box, I received an actual Scrawler box, and I had my new pastel Ohuhu markers to review, and just like that, my schedule was full. But if I'm being honest, I also wasn't inspired by last month's colors either. I considered doubling it up with my March Fandom Mayhem pieces 3 separate weeks, but I couldn't even think of a fandom I wanted to draw that suited that palette. This palette looks very similar to last month's palette, just more pastel, which is fitting given Easter, but it means I was almost equally uninspired when I opened this month's email. I haven't been loving the 4-color palette thing. It really doesn't feel like they're picking colors that complement each other anymore, and although I know we can choose less than all 4 of them, which one do you drop to make the palette work better? I'd also like to point out that the emails they send out announcing these colors show them off as little planets on a black background, and the rest of the email is also on a black background, so your eyes adjust to that and the colors always end up looking more muted than they actually are. The color they're calling almond looks far more yellow on a black background, and the shade they're calling blueberry, positioned between carrot and melon against black, it looks like a desaturated teal. Those colors work together better, but most of us doing this challenge aren't working in mediums that do well on a black background to get those effects. It started as an alcohol marker challenge, and then the company introduced water-based and watercolor markers to their suggestions. Most of us original followers of the challenge are using those mediums. So yeah, not impressed with the way this is presented these days. Not inspired by the palettes anymore. I'm seriously considering dropping this challenge from my regular video rotation. Would anybody be upset by that? Is anyone else disenchanted with the challenge this year? If you're looking for more to watch, I've got some suggestions up on the left side of the screen now. Don't forget to like, comment, maybe even subscribe, and if you like living life creatively, whatever that means to you, I'd love to have you along for the ride. Bye guys!